Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Dear student, I hope you will be fine. Today we discuss the data collection method, step 3, observation. As you know that the observations is basically the part of scientific research design data collection method, and data collection method is the part of a basic research and applied research process. And you can see here the complete research process for the basic and applied data collection methods. We have a three main data collection methods: observation, questionnaires, and interviews. And the remaining interviews and the questionnaire we have already discussed. Today our focus on observations. Basically we say that it is the questionnaires building and questionnaires, how we can build the questionnaires for the research. There are three main methods. Is the layout of building the research your questionnaires basically, and they are basing on three principles, and three principles we are also be discussed in our lectures and the videos. Today our focus on the observations methods for data collection. Observations, mainly the researchers use the different types of methods for data collection. The observation is the one of them. The observation is the way of gathering the data by watching behavior, events, and noting the physical characteristics in their natural setting where the researchers interest phenomena is existing, that where the researcher need to collect the data through observations. Observational research, basically the observational researcher have participant sometime and not be participant. In here you have seen in the picture not participant observations images and participant observations images. Basically sometime the researchers are involved in the organization system and collecting the data for their studies, and sometimes the researcher and observers are not be participant in the organization position and not be physically participate in the organization system and the organization setting. In that case we called a non-participant observation. If the participants and the researchers participate in the research setting, environmental setting, in the natural setting in the organizations, we call a participant observation. Watching their people in the natural environment and watching and observing the activities in the organizations is called a participant observation and participant research. And the types of observer: non-participant observer and participant observer. There are mainly two types of observer: participant observer and non-participant. We talk about first non-participant observations is where the observer is not part of the situation being studied. Already we discussed in participant and non-participant observer and the researcher. Not usually in the natural setting, the situation could be set up by the researcher. Basically in that situation where the researcher collection of data starting not be basically directly participate in the situation where they are observing the situation, and basically they have observed the situation and observed the activities beyond the area and the place where the activities is going on. Participant observations means the observer takes a part in the situation being studied while carrying out the research. For example, the researcher and the participant, mainly participant, and work with the groups in the organizations and also performing some activities during collection of the data through observation. And participant observations and non-participant observation you have seen in this picture, and I must go through for separately the participant observations and non-participant observation, but I hope you must be clear from here what is the participant observation and what is the non-participant observation. Structured no going to be discussed the um, two methods of observational studies, the structured and non-structured methods. In first method, structured methods of observational studies and unstructured observation of the studies we discussed. A structured observation of the study, basically we have already planned and very systematically we make a structure of observations and activities of observation in the listed. But unstructured, we have not listed the observation activities and observation activities before and after conducting the observations and collecting the data from observation. Observations method, structure versus unstructured observation. Here we discuss in brief. For structure observation, when we're talking about the structure observations, the researcher specifies in detail what is to be observed and how the measurements are to be recorded. For example, an auditor performing the inventory analysis is in the store, in the company, in the organization is the example of the structured observations. Auditors, monitors and inspectors and physical verifications, and sometime you know that the inspectors of the food inspector also be the examples of the structured observations. In unstructured observation, the observers monitors all the aspect of the phenomena of interest of the researchers that seems relevant to the problem at the hand. For example, observing the student in the class and observing the children playing with the new toys and observing how the children and how the students are taking the interest in particular toys and the particular activities, that is called a unstructured observation. Observation study, what is the we in the finally in conclude the observation study. The observational studies have a formulated research purpose and is systematically planned. Such studies can be structured and unstructured. We have already discussed with the methods of the observation studies, structured and unstructured. All phenomena of the interest are systematically recorded and quality control can be exercised by the eliminated the biases. In the case of the observational studies, and we collect the data from through observations, the different phenomena are systematically recorded and well evidence providing for the researcher during the researcher conducting the research in the natural. Observation studies can also be provide a very solid and rich data insight into the nature of the phenomena observed. For example, when you are observing the social as a social observer, you are observing the society, you are observing the social groups, you have need to collect the data for observing the feelings and the motions and the gestures of the social groups. The observational studies have solved this problem for collecting the information, collecting the data from observation. All about that's for today lecture. I hope you will be listen our lectures carefully. Thank you for watching our videos and listening the lectures. In the next step, in the inshallah, then in next videos we discuss the step 4 of data collection. Stay blessed. Have a good day.